Here is the text transcribed into U.S. English. God chose a raven in the Bible to demonstrate his sovereignty, his power to provide even in the most difficult circumstances, and to show that he can use any creature, regardless of its nature or ceremonial status, such as unclean law, to fulfill his plans. The story of Elijah is a powerful testimony to divine providence and God's ability to perform miracles through unexpected means. Look at this curious thing. God chose a raven in the Bible to show that he's in charge of everything, that he has immense power to care for us even in the toughest times, and to prove that he can use any creature, no matter if we consider it bad or unclean, to get things done. The story of Elijah is living proof of this, a strong example of how God cares and does incredible things in the most unexpected way. Think with me, of all the creatures in the world, of all the pretty and cuddly animals, why the raven? That black, somewhat strange bird, which we don't always look upon favorably. Well, the Bible gives us some quite surprising clues about this. The Bible mentions ravens in a few passages, and in each of them, God uses his bird in specific ways for his purposes. The first time the raven appears is right after the flood. The world was underwater, and Noah, inside the ark, wanted to know if it was safe to leave yet. He could have sent a dove right away, which is a prettier bird. But no, he sent the raven first. Why? Because the raven is a smart, stubborn creature that can manage on any dry land, even if it's just a muddy patch. It doesn't return home easily. It goes out and explores. It's like a detective of the wild. The raven went to see what the land was like, showing Noah that life was already returning, even if in a raw state. The raven sent by Noah appears in Genesis 8, verse 7 after the great flood. Noah releases a raven from the ark to see if the waters had receded. The text says, "Then he sent out a raven, which kept going and fro until the water had dried up from the earth." The raven, being a carrion bird, might have found food and resting places in areas with carcasses or newly exposed lands. Noah sent it first to test the conditions, and the fact that it did not definitively return to the ark, but rather went back and forth, may indicate that it found what it needed outside, but conditions were not yet conducive for settlement. Imagine the scene. The world, submerged in turbulent waters, under a shroud of gray. Inside the ark, Noah waited, hope mixed with uncertainty. He needed a sign, news of dry land. He released a dove, which returned. But before it, he released a raven. Why the raven? Because the raven is a survivor, a tireless explorer who adapts to desolation. It flies over what others avoid, seeking life where there seems to be none. And so, the raven, the ark's first messenger, taught Noah about resilience and the ability to find a way, even in chaos. Wow! The most surprising and curious narrative of all happened centuries later. The land was in a severe drought, the greatest famine in history, and the king wanted Elijah dead, amidst one of the most severe droughts Israel had ever known. The prophet Elijah, pursued by King Ahab and Jezebel, was sent by God to hide by the brook Cherith. Famine ravaged the land, and Elijah's life depended on a miraculous provision. In this case, God's choice of ravens is particularly significant for several reasons. Why ravens? The answer lies in the depth of divine wisdom and the subversion of human expectations. And here comes the part that makes us scratch our heads. God said he would send ravens to feed Elijah. Ravens, not angels with shining wings, not doves bringing divine food, but ravens. Those birds that people considered unclean, almost dirty, that steal food and eat carrion. God wanted to demonstrate that a provision is not limited to what is clean or conventional in human eyes. He can use the most improbable means, the most humble instruments, or even the unclean to fulfill his purposes. The lesson was clear. The source of the blessing is not the messenger, but the one who sends. Ravens were considered unclean birds by Mosaic law, Leviticus 11, verse 15. The fact that God used unclean birds to sustain his pure prophet demonstrates his sovereignty, and that he can use any means, even the most improbable or filthy in human eyes, to fulfill his purposes and care for his servants. Imagine the scene. Elijah, a man of God, hidden, starving, and suddenly here they come. Not one, but several ravens, descending from the sky with fresh bread and meat in their mouths twice a day. Breakfast and dinner were guaranteed, delivered by creatures that, by nature, hoard food for themselves. Why did God do this? This is where it gets interesting and impactful. To shock and teach, God wanted to show that he doesn't need a pretty or proper creature to do his will. He uses whomever he wants, however he wants, to demonstrate his power. If we think that only what is clean or perfect can be used by God, he comes and shows us the raven bringing the meal. God wanted to demonstrate that his provision is not limited to what is clean or conventional in human eyes. He can use the most improbable means, the most humble instruments, or even the unclean to fulfill his purposes. The lesson was clear. The source of the blessing is not the messenger, but the one who sends. To show who's in charge, the raven is a creature that thinks only of itself, but there it was forced to be God's waiter. This shows that God has total control over nature, over animals, over everything. He commands even the most basic instincts of a creature. The raven, by nature, is an opportunist, a food thief. However, faced with divine command, its instincts were subjugated. God demonstrated absolute control over nature, forcing a creature to act against its own essence to sustain his servant. Ravens are instinctively birds that steal food, but in this case, they are forced by God to act against their nature to serve the prophet, delivering food to him. This highlights God's power and control over all creation. To test Elijah's faith, receiving food from ravens must not have been the easiest thing to accept. Elijah had to trust that the food came from God, even if the deliverer was a creature that many looked down upon. For Elijah, accepting food from ravens required radical faith. It was a test of humility, of total dependence on God, no matter the appearance of the provider. To leave a strong message, the lesson here is clear. God's help can come from where we least expect it, through the most improbable means. When we think there's no way out, that the situation is too dirty or too ugly, God can use precisely what we discard to bless us. So, the raven in the Bible isn't just any creature. It's a living, curious reminder that God is surprising, powerful, and capable of transforming any situation, using even the most unusual carrier pigeon to care for those he loves. It's proof that for God, there's no tool too wrong or dirty when the goal is to take care of you. The raven, often seen as a somber omen, became a herald of hope and life. The darkness of its feathers contrasted with the light of divine providence it delivered. It was a message that God is present and operates even in the darkest and most desperate circumstances. Thus, the raven, with its enigmatic presence in the Scriptures, is not just a curious detail. It is a living parable of God's limitless power, of his ability to transform the unexpected into a miracle, the impure into an instrument of his will, and to teach us that divine help can come from the most improbable hands, revealing a wisdom that transcends all human understanding. The Bible also refers to ravens as creatures that God feeds, highlighting his providence over all creation, including wild birds that neither sow nor reap. Job 38, verse 41. Who provides for the raven its food, when its young cry to God and wander about for lack of food? Psalm 147, verse 9. He gives food to the livestock and to the young ravens when they cry. Luke 12, verse 24, Jesus, consider the ravens. They do not sow or reap. They have no storeroom or barn, yet God feeds them. And how much more valuable you are than birds. In summary, God chose a raven in the Bible to demonstrate his sovereignty, his power to provide even in the most difficult circumstances, and to show that he can use any creature, regardless of its nature or ceremonial status, such as unclean in the law, to fulfill his plans. The story of Elijah is a powerful testimony to divine providence and God's ability to perform miracles through unexpected means. So, the raven in the Bible isn't just any creature. It's a living, curious reminder that God is surprising, powerful, and capable of transforming any situation, using even the most unusual carrier pigeon to care for those he loves. It's proof that for God, there's no tool too wrong or dirty when the goal is to take care of you. Today is the only real time. Don't get too caught up in what is past or what hasn't even arrived yet. Live and enjoy the present moment. It is your gift. Small victories count. That task you postponed and finally did? Celebrate. Every little step forward is an achievement. Don't compare your life. The grass on your neighbor's side might seem greener, but you don't know what they're watering. Focus on your own journey. It's unique. Making mistakes is part of it. Nobody gets it right every time. Every mistake is a chance to learn and do things differently next time. Don't be so hard on yourself. Rest when you need to. You're not a machine. Taking a break, stopping, and recharging your energy isn't laziness. It's intelligence. Kindness starts with you. Be kind to others, but especially to yourself. Speak well of yourself. Take care of yourself. You are stronger than you think. You've been through so much and overcome it. Remember your inner strength in tough times. Less is more. You don't need 1,000 things or a packed schedule to be happy. Sometimes, simplicity brings the most peace. Let go of what doesn't serve you. Resentments, worries you can't solve. Things that weigh you down. Release them. Make space for the new. Learn to say no. Saying no to others sometimes means saying yes to yourself, to your peace and your time. Be grateful for the small things. The warm coffee, the sun through the window, a laugh. These little things make life richer. Your voice matters. Don't be afraid to express what you feel and think. With respect, your ideas and feelings are valid. Accept what you cannot change. Some things just happen. Spend your energy on what you can control, not on what's beyond your reach. Ask for help. You don't have to carry the weight of the world alone. Asking for help isn't a sign of weakness. It's a sign of wisdom. Believe in your potential. You have unique talents and qualities. Don't doubt what you're capable of doing. Forgive, especially yourself. Forgiving yourself for past mistakes frees you from an enormous burden. Move forward. Take care of your body and mind. They are your home. Eat well, move your body, and set aside time for what calms you. Change is constant. Life is always in motion. Adapt, learn from the new, and see the opportunities that arise. Don't postpone happiness. Life happens now. Don't wait for the perfect day, the ideal moment. Find joy in your today. Your peace is a priority. Protect your well-being, your tranquility. Avoid people and situations that drain your energy. Your peace is worth gold. If you felt touched, if this conversation resonated within you, if you want to uncover more of life's secrets, find more strength, more confidence, and more peace for each day, then you need to be part of our community. Don't waste any more time. Click the link below now or the subscribe button if you're watching this on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any transformative content. Activate the notification bell to be alerted whenever we have a new video that will boost you. And leave your like on this video and a comment sharing which reflection touched you the most. Let's go together on this journey of self-discovery, faith, and much light. Every click, every subscription, every comment strengthens our voice and helps us take this message to many more people who also need it. Come be part of this transformation. Your best version awaits you. Action is the bridge between thought and reality. Click and come.